Hello everyone, I'm the Last Raider, and today I'm going to try and do a short video on the whole Blizzard, China, Hong Kong love triangle that's going on right now. It's not really a love triangle, it's just something, it's really stupid. So those of you who don't know, this guy Blitzchung got kicked out because he made pro-Hong Kong or pro-free Hong Kong statements somewhere on Blizzard. I think it's one of their. It's kind of like, I want to say it's kind of like the Big Brother thing where they sit back and talk to people about something. And what ended up happening was they banned him for a year, if I'm reading it correctly, because there's so much information about this. From what I've understood, they banned him for a year and took away his prize money, and they've given him back his prize money, but only banned him for 6 months. And that was because of the backlash that happened. But what I want to talk about today is how Blizzard is a two-faced company. And they should not be trusted. In fact, any company that is controlled by China should not be trusted. Period. So here we go. We're going to concentrate on this little section right here. The specific views expressed by Blitzchung were not a factor in the decision we made. Remember this, because the next slide we're going to go over is going to completely repudiate this. But they're not talking to the West, they're talking to the East. I want to be clear, our relationships with China had no influence in our decision. We have these rules to keep the focus on the game and on the tournament to the benefit of a global audience, and that was the only consideration in the actions we took. Only consideration. Now realize that. What they're saying here is, it's not what Blitzchung said. It's the fact that it was political, and we don't want politics here. They're also saying China had no influence in the decision, and the only thing that caused them to make the decision to ban him for 6 months now, originally it was a year, and take his prize money, was the fact that he spoke out. He said something political. Okay? Now, this is not true, because I think an American group of players actually have said something similar, not pertaining to Hong Kong, but something that's more liberally based, that would be more communistically supported. I'm not sure what it was they said. I'll have to look it up. But they've said something political, and nothing's happened. People are now calling Blizzard on this, saying, look, the American team has now said something. Why are you not going after them? Now, here comes the hypocrisy. This is from Hearthstone, which is controlled by Blizzard. And this is on Weibo. They're the Chinese site. Actually, this statement is on Blizzard's actual site. And I believe it's still on their Twitter. It's like right at the top, but I have the link in the description. I'll send it in. I'll put the link in the description of the channel. That way you know where to go and find it. But over here we have Hearthstone's official statement. Now this is translated from, I believe, Mandarin Chinese, I think. It's Chinese. We'll just go with it. We are very angered and disappointed at what happened at last week's event, and highly object to the expression of personal political beliefs in any of our events. As always, we will defend the pride and dignity of China at all costs. Our relationships in China had no influence on our decision, and that was the only consideration in the actions that we took. To keep the focus on the game, we will defend the pride and dignity of China at all costs. Well, you know what? Let me tell you something. Blizzard wants to be Chinese. They want to be owned by a Chinese company. They want to be taxed by a Chinese government. And they want to be pegged by the Chinese government. They don't stand on Western values of freedom, equality. Let a person talk about what they want to talk about. And had they stuck with what they had stated on their site and this had not come out, I would have probably believed them on that. But now, because of what Blizzard has done, they've not only screwed themselves, but in my opinion, every other company that is sending money to China. What I will say about this is, look, if Blizzard wants to defend the pride and dignity of China at all cost, then make the cost high. You know they're going to defend it regardless. They're not going to change their minds. There's a possibility they'll change their minds, but it's just not. It's a very remote possibility, very, very tiny possibility. So here's what I say. I say we put the chokehold onto that goblin Blizzard and keep tightening down and squeezing the money out of them and choking off their supply of money until either they tap out or they stop kicking. Because if you're going to sit here and lie to your fans and lie to the people that are putting money into your game and lie to your tournament people, there needs to be not only a mass boycott by the customers, but there needs to be a demand by customers in every country that these teams stop participating in these events. If they want only China, if they're going to defend China, let them just have the Chinese team. Let the Chinese team win by default. And say they won because the Americans, the Europeans, the Japanese, the Taiwanese, all of them, they just didn't show up because they didn't agree with what was happening. And have them stay. I would almost dictate that there's a possibility that Blizzard could be controlling the games. If China wins this year, like if China wins anything, that should be considered a red flag that Blizzard is giving the title to China for political reasons, in my opinion. But yeah, don't trust Blizzard. Don't trust China kitties. South Park's a good company. They got banned because they flipped China off, basically. I need to watch more South Park. But anyway, I'm the Last Raider. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. As usual, link to the one is in the description. This one here, I can't remember where I got it from, but if I can find it, I'll link it as well. But again, folks, be safe. Keep your head on a swivel. Free Hong Kong. And as always, I'll see y'all next time.